Hey everyone, this is Christian Heimel, host of Caught Listening. Thanks for listening to the following podcast on Public House Media.
Everybody, it's No Filter Friday on Public House Media, and I'm sitting here, saved by the Chipotle iced tea. There it goes. Wonderful. I'm going to do that intro again, just in case. Oh, no, I don't need to. My clock is still ticking. Wonderful. Well, I'm sitting here with the good old trusty Chipotle iced tea, because I can't seem to live my life without it. And I'm going to take a second to share the show, as you should too, because sharing is caring. Louis Francisco, thanks for coming in, home skillet. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. Either that or this trash Facebook Live has not been able to show me that you've been coming in, but thank you for the wave. I pressed like on that wave. All right, let's see if this will come up in my feed so I can share it. Or not, because Facebook is trash. And David Bobkey, audio is good. Thank God. I switched mics. This is a different mic this week, so I was hoping that it would sound okay. That was my hope. Here it is. Okay, yay. Post. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to go over two things, and I swear to you on all things holy, I'm going to keep the show shorter, because last week I did well over an hour because we had a lot of things to talk about. And although our subjects this week are very important, that does not mean we need to sit here for, oh my gosh, my hair is just on another level. That does not mean we need to sit here for like over an hour. We don't have to do that. We love each other, but like we don't have to love each other that much. Like it's okay. We'll be all right as a team, as a group. So first things first, Tara Reid, Joe Biden, and then we're going to talk about Harvey Weinstein, because he's the star of No Filter Friday, obviously. It's like there are three things that star in this show. This pink bathrobe, tea, and Harvey Weinstein. We've got three series regulars. Most of the time they keep it rocking. They're carrying the whole show. I'm just narrating at this point. I'm just doing the voiceover for the inner monologue. That's it. So word is that Tara Reid, Joe Biden's like main accuser, because there's more. She's just the front runner. Apparently, she decided to come out and say that she is ready and willing to take a polygraph test, and that he should too. Most of the time, polygraph isn't admissible in court, but still, I mean, if reality stars can do it for talk shows, like why not? There's no way Biden will ever entertain the idea of doing this polygraph test, and even if he did, the man can't put forth a coherent sentence in his native language from his mouth to save his life anyway. So, does it really matter? Probably not. But I said that to say this. I was making it sound like there's an ulterior motive. But people have come out for her in more ways than one, and to keep herself safe, she's committed to the accusing train, which is fine. She should. That's say what you mean what you say, and if being a hashtag me accuser or being an accuser before the hashtag me too era, you had to be ready and willing to die on that accusation hill. And that is no truer than when you are accusing somebody who is friends with the Clinton. Because these days, they will Epstein you so fast, so fast, and then be like, the footage is gone, oops, and everybody will know exactly what happened. But there's nothing we can do for you. So you just have to be ready and willing to die on that hill. Is she actually going to take his polygraph test? Who knows? It'll be a media thing, if nothing. But, I mean, we have so many pictures and videos of Joe Biden rubbing his crotch on adults and children alike. And God knows we've got hair sniffing pictures and videos for days. 4 days. I'm sure that the Getty Wire image roll of Joe Biden throughout the last so many decades is just, they've got more sniffing pictures than basically anything else. So do you need any more information than that? I don't. If that's, the subject that we're going to talk about. But that's their dude. That's who they decided to push out in front of anybody else. So those are their decisions. We all just have to, live underneath them. Apparently with a smile on our face, I think. I think that's what the memo said when they sent that out. Anyway, let's talk about Harvey Weinstein, because this is getting really juicy. As we all know, he is spending his time on Rikers Island. He said he got the Rona, but we haven't heard about that since. And he's supposed to be serving his 23 years in Rikers Island in New York. Although his trial in Los Angeles is, supposed to be underway and this, that, and the other thing. Now he's going for a triple play because apparently he has multiple accusers in the UK. The London court has one lady that's like a major front runner in this case, and then there's some supporters behind it. But let's read this because it's juicy. This came out basically yesterday. Harvey Weinstein faces new legal front in London assault case. Okay. A woman in the UK who can't be identified said Weinstein assaulted and harassed her, and that 7 other executives at his firm and its British unit knowingly helped him. The former employee is bringing an employment case while Weinstein is serving 23-year sentence for sexual assault. The lawsuit, one of the first related to the producer in the London court, came to light after a former Weinstein Company board member, Tim Sarnoff, lost an appeal to avoid providing information ahead of a full trial. Sarnoff denies the allegations against him, and the tribunal judge said in a ruling Wednesday, while the fallen Hollywood mogul faces multiple lawsuits in the U.S., there are a few cases to appear publicly in Europe. London police are investigating allegations from 9 accusers. 9 accusers. He doesn't even spend that much time in the UK. They just have like one decent film festival. Nine accusers spanning from the late 1980s to 2015. That's like most of my lifetime. And there are also 6 British individuals among a group pursuing separate civil class action. I thought class action was a group, not separate, but okay, whatever. Maybe the UK has different rules. A lawyer for Weinstein in the UK declined to comment. Attorneys for Sarnoff weren't immediately available to comment, but said a year ago that his name should have been never associated with the allegations asserted against Harvey Weinstein. Nigar Yazdani, an attorney at the Black Lion Law representing the claimant, said the ruling would help to weaken the culture of silence surrounding Harvey Weinstein. It's inexplicable that the powers behind the throne who worked so closely with Harvey Weinstein were not fully aware of his alleged behavior in the case and either enabled it or turned a blind eye, and his silence protected him from consequences and allowed his behavior to continue, she said. The British unit of the Weinstein Company was dissolved in September, according to the UK company's registry. So, surprise, surprise, he's got more accusers on another coast. Obvi, the man gets around, and he's been doing it for the better part of 30, 40 years at this point. So, to read between the lines on that, I don't think they're going to be able to extradite him to the UK to like sit for this trial. Like maybe they'll do some sort of out of court settlement or something. And surely he's never going to do jail time in the UK. I don't think. And I highly doubt that the Queen would ever allow this, considering Weinstein and Prince Andrew have been palling around for God knows how long. So if Harvey Weinstein comes to sit for his trial in the UK and sings like a canary, or alludes to the fact that he'll sing like a canary, and these other girls name names, things could get very, very, very ugly across the pond. So they'll probably just do some out of court settlement. I'm not really sure how that works in the UK, but they're going to have to get something out of this, because I highly doubt he's going to serve any jail time in the UK. And then even if he did, he'd have to like finish serving the 23 years in New York. And then after that, Los Angeles, the state of California is the next in line to like have his hole behind. So get in line, UK, get in line. What I think is interesting though, and what I really wanted to talk about that we haven't talked about before, is that although we've done a lot of talking about moving forward in the Me Too era and how we're going to continue in production and business across the world about how we're going to live with these new cultural standards and not allowing sexual harassment, this, that, and the other thing. A lot of this has to do with employment contracts. What cooked Weinstein's goose initially for this was because in his employment contract with the Weinstein Company in Los Angeles, it said that he could basically do whatever he wanted so long as he paid his own legal fees, and that any of his, wrongdoing wouldn't come out of the Weinstein Company's pocket. And that's what nailed the coffin shut for all of that. With that being said, lots of places, like all the major networks and things like that, like they kind of restructured their paperwork around like their sexual harassment clauses. And like NBC, for example, has always been notorious for like, even if you work for NBC for like a day, you have to go to their like sexual harassment like training seminar thing orientation, which is great. I mean, at least they're attempting to make it look like they're putting forth effort. However, to be responsible as myself, I started looking around my document library for all my crew contracts and deal memos and things like that. And I was like, oh, you know what I'm missing? An indemnification clause. Why? Because in my crew contracts, in my, or for talent as well, there is a little clause, like a little, not a morality clause, but like a conduct clause. And that's just like this little piece out of like a paragraph and a half out of like a multi-page thing, right? And I'm like, I need to be indemnified as a producer, because if I hire somebody and they do something underneath me, then that kicks up to me, and that's a problem. So I've been working to, now that I have all this free time with not any work in sight, I have been working on putting an indemnification agreement into my crew contracts in my library. And because I'm in a good mood, this doesn't last long. If you also work in production and you need a document library or some things pulled from a document library, let me know and I will consider doing it for you. I'm not making any promises, but because I'm in a good mood, I will consider it. It's like, I can't have anybody, like, say I didn't do this show and wasn't, I don't know, covering #MeToo for 2.5 years to the tune of 100+ episodes and speaking engagements and film festivals and magazine articles and this, that, and the other thing. Say I wasn't even doing any of those things. I am still, without that clause, without being indemnified and held harmless, legally speaking, on paper. If some idiot comes on my set, even for a day, even for a half day, even some moron who's making craft servants runs for me, and they do something stupid, then that kicks up to me. And I can only imagine what the mainstream media would say if that were to be a problem, because I've been dumping on them for all these years. I'm sure they would not miss a chance to be like, this raggedy podcaster over here, blah, 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 blah. She ran a set and somebody did something stupid. I don't have to see it. I don't have to be near it. I don't have to condone it. I can do a safety meeting at the beginning of every single day and say, if any of you step one toe out of line, you will catch these hands. Still doesn't matter. Without an indemnity clause, I can still be rolled up into the mix. And that I cannot have, despite this show or not. And like, really, it's never been my jam. Anytime anybody has ever hit on somebody on one of my sets, if they get fired or not is kind of a toss-up because of that situation, but I definitely never work with them again. Ever. It's like one of the cardinal sins on my set is looking at people sideways, hitting on people, any of that. If you even think about asking somebody for their number, you're dead to me. You're dunsies. So that's going to be a hard no for me. So in the spirit of moving forward in the #MeToo movement, I'm going to be changing up my contracts. I suggest if you are an employer in any way, shape, or form, even if it's outside of the entertainment industry, I urge you to work on your own paperwork. But if you are within the industry and you want to compare notes on paperwork, I'm kind of in a good mood these days, so I will consider it if you ask. I've lent my document library to lots of people over the years, but they were deserving of it. I can't tell you off tops if you're going to be deserving. So with that being said, that will be our full week of #NoFilter Friday. We'll see if this UK thing picks up any steam with old Harvey and his new Rikers Island One Piece. I hope he loves it. I'm sure the other inmates just love and adore him. I'm sure they do. So I will see you all next week. Share the show. Check out other shows on Public House Media like Disarming Disability, Seeing Jade Cell. And then I think there's a new weekly Public House Media show that's just kind of about current events and the crazy coming across the news desks of the world. And I will see you all next week for another round of crazy, and I will try to keep it short, although we don't know what's going to happen, so no promises there. See you all later. Goodbye.